and it's a quiet fishing town. This is in Northern Ireland. I got that 18 kinds of wrong. And I accumulated quite a few books that I feel like I haven't read. Oh, I don't know if I want to know this. And this is from, I feel like this is the case of, are they telling you too much on the back cover? So, again, snow, they're all snowy, but here we go. Here's another one. Why do I always say stuff like that? Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. And welcome to another recommendation-ish video of wintry, snowy, icy, arctic-y kind of reads. And I say ish because with the exception of 2 books in this pile, I haven't read any of them. So this is like as much for me as it is for you. But again, I feel like I always say this, if you guys have been following me, then ... I've accumulated quite a few books lately, like end of 2021 lately. My no spend January is still, we're still going strong here. We're still going strong. It's the 15th, 17th. What is time? It's the 17th. Still going strong on the no spend. So I haven't bought any books yet, I say, parentheses, whatever, we'll see what happens. Anyway, a bunch of the books that I bought at the end of last year actually had super snowy vibes to it. And part of it was just, it was the mood I was in. It's a lot of new to me writers, but I made a whole snowy reads video and then I find myself with another stack of snowy reads. So I'm going to make some recommendations today and talk about some of the books that I want to read since we had snow here last night and tis the season. So here we go. Snowy, cold, arctic, icy books to read in the winter. So the first book is one I haven't read yet, and I talked about this in a vlog I did a while ago, but it's The Dark by Emma Houghton. So this is isolated thriller vibes. It says 1 dead body, 12 suspects, 24-hour darkness. So this definitely gives me a lot of those Agatha Christie vibes, isolated. I don't know if people are going to get picked off one by one, but in this one, it says cut off from the rest of the world, there's a killer on the loose. So doesn't sound good for the people who are there. But we have a doctor named Kate North, and it says she's been knocked out of her orbit by personal tragedy. So she's offered this opportunity to be an emergency replacement at the UN research station in Antarctica. So she jumps at the chance, and the previous doctor, Jean-Luc, died in a tragic accident while out on the ice. The move seems an ideal solution for Kate. No one knows about her past, no one is checking up on her. But as total darkness descends for the winter, she begins to suspect that Jean-Luc's death wasn't accidental at all. And the more questions she asks, the more dangerous it becomes. So I heard great things about this from Abby at Crime by the Book. She was the one who sort of put this book on my radar, as she often does with a lot of books. And it just feels like all of the great, like I say, wintry, isolated vibes, which I love. And I'm just really excited for it. So I did have that moment of, oh, I'm not going to rush to buy this immediately. And then I think I waited like a week and I was like, all right, I'm gonna rush and buy this. But it says for fans of Lucy Foley and Ruth Ware, do be afraid of the dark. So yay for this one. So on that note, fans of Ruth Ware, In a Dark, Dark Wood. This was her first book. This is still my favorite Ruth Ware book. She has a new book coming out this year called The It Girl, which I'm so excited about because she did not have a book come out last year. But I feel like I'm in the minority with this feeling. I love this book so, so much. The dark, twisted female friendship of this is everything. So in this book, we have a group of friends who go away for a hen weekend, and it's sort of a combination of new friends and old friends. And there's that messed up dynamic between the old friends who knew each other back in college. So our main character, Nora, is super reluctant. She doesn't want to go at all, but her best friend convinces her to go. It's the right thing to do. It's going to be great fun. We'll like mend fences from years ago. But 48 hours later, Nora wakes up in an emergency room hospital bed. She has no memory of what happened, but she knows that somebody is dead. And it says she's wondering not what happened, but what have I done? So we go to past and present timelines. We flip back and forth between the beginning of the weekend and Nora in the hospital, trying to piece together what happened that night. And I loved it. So they're at this super isolated place in the woods. It's snowing outside, which is why it's on the list, but I love this one so much. I have not read this book in years. I read it when it came out, And I definitely, every time I do this, and I say this every time I do one of these kind of videos and I recommend books that I've read before, I'm like, I want to reread that again now. So I don't know, maybe I'll read this one this year too, but I love it. I love Ruth Ware, and that is my favorite of her books. Okay, back to books I haven't read yet. So this is Snow by John Banville. I also talked about this maybe in that same vlog where I talked about The Dark, because I had just picked up a couple of books during that video. So in this one, we have Detective Inspector St. John Strafford. I'm sorry, and it says he was called in from Dublin to investigate this murder. So it says, the body is in the library, Colonel Osborne said. Come this way. So we have the corpse of a highly respected parish priest is found at Ballyglass House. And our detective faces obstruction from all angles, but carries on determinedly in his pursuit of the murderer. But as the snow continues to fall over this ever-expanding mystery, the people of Ballyglass are equally determined to keep their secrets. And they do not want this inspector here looking into what just happened. So this takes place in 1957. It's the winter, obviously. So I had it wrong. I guess they are outside of Dublin. But this book, I saw it come up on like a whole bunch of different lists. Peter Swanson is quoted on the cover of this book, which of course makes me want to read it even more. And it says sinister and unnerving. All the trimmings of a classic murder mystery. So I picked this one up from Thrift Books. I've heard some great things about it and I'm excited to jump in. And when I talked about it, again, I'm pretty sure it was that vlog video rather than a haul video. A bunch of people commented also on how great this book was. So of course that like just makes me want to read it more because I'm very easily influenced. Okay, we're going to continue with a bunch of thrift books here. So this one is called The Girl in the Ice by Robert Brinzda. So this one is a gripping serial killer thriller. I feel like it's been a little while since I've read a serial killer. So here we go. It says, her eyes are wide open, her lips parted as if to speak, her dead body frozen in the ice. She's not the only one. So a young boy, poor thing, discovers the body of a woman beneath a thick sheet of ice in a South London park. So we have Detective Erica Foster is called in to lead the murder investigation. So the woman who was found is a beautiful young socialite and appeared to have the perfect life. Yet when Erica begins to dig deeper, of course she doesn't, right? She starts to connect the dots between the murder and the killings of 3 prostitutes, all found strangled, hands bound, and dumped in water around London. What dark secrets is the girl in the ice hiding? So we get police investigation here. Obviously we get some sort of dark twisted secrets that are happening. So this is definitely going to be a case of like mystery, secret. We've got like a detective who's got a whole bunch of baggage as well. It sounds like there's some stuff going on with her, which I hesitate to say because I don't know if it's a dead giveaway on anything. But this one sounds really interesting. So again, set in London. Body frozen under the ice. I mean, it just sounds so creepy. And I have not read anything else by Robert Brinza. A whole bunch of books here. So hopefully this will be like the first in like a discovering of a new writer for me, which is also something that I'm trying to focus on sort of softly in 2022. And I did a really good job of it last year. I feel like I discovered so many good new to me authors. So I'm excited to read outside of authors I'm normally gravitating to, which the next book is going to be an author that I discovered last year that I'm gravitating to pretty hard, but I'm excited for it. It's Ragnar Jonasson. So this is Snowblind, which is the first in a different series than the Hulda series, which is also great. So this one is, it says classic crime story. This one has a lot of Agatha Christie vibes to it as well, is my understanding. And I believe this was his debut. Yes, startling debut from an extraordinary new talent. So in this one, we have a quiet fishing village in northern Iceland where no one locks their doors. It's accessible only via a small mountain tunnel. You know something's gonna go wrong in a town like this where people don't lock their doors. So then we have Ari Thor is a rookie policeman on his first posting, far from his girlfriend in Reykjavik. He has a past that he's unable to leave behind. And then the what is we have a young woman found lying half naked in the snow, bleeding and unconscious, and a highly esteemed elderly writer falls to his death. Ari is dragged straight into the heart of a community where he can trust no one and secrets and lies are a way of life. Past plays tag with the present. Oh, I love that line. And the claustrophobic tension mounts while Ari is thrust even deeper into his own darkness, blinded by snow and with a killer on the loose. So I have a few books in this series because I of course gobbled them all up when I found them on thrift books, because that has become my newest obsession. But I've heard tremendous things about this one, and I'll be honest, if it's anything like the Holda series, I know I'm going to fall in love with it. So, you know, Body in the Snow, Iceland, which in and of itself just feels cold. I feel like even when it's warm, it just sounds cold to me. But I'm really excited for it. I completely fell in love with his writing and his storytelling. So I'm excited. Obviously, I said that 14 times. So Snowblind. I mean, it's built into the title. Snow. Okay, two more, but this one I haven't read either. And this is The Ice Princess by Camilla Lackberg. And this was her first book as well. So this is her American debut, it says, of Swedish Phenomenon. So this came out in 2010. And in this one, we have a woman named Erica, and she returns to her hometown after the funeral of her parents. She's a writer, and she finds the community on the brink of tragedy. The death of her childhood friend Alex is just the beginning. Her wrists slashed, her body frozen in an ice-cold bath, it appears that she has taken her own life. So Erica conceives a book about the beautiful but remote Alex, one that will answer questions about their shared past and lost friendship. So again, writer vibes, which I just love, love, love. And it says, while her interest grows steadily into an obsession, local detective Patrick Hedstrom is following his own suspicions about the case. But it's only when they start working together that the truth begins to emerge about this small town with a deeply disturbing past. So it says, the dark side of human nature, penetrating portrayal. I really enjoy the detective partnering with a civilian. I like the writing aspect of this one. I have a few Camilla Lackberg books. I have The Golden Cage, which is a different series of hers, which actually, there's 2 books out, and I feel like the 3rd one is coming out this year as well. I haven't started it yet, but I've heard great things about her too. I mean, I'm just gonna keep saying the same stuff over and over again, it seems like, but I'm really excited for this book. Again, it's the cold kind of icy vibes, and I feel like the Nordic noir, I've really started to get into it. I'm really enjoying, I read The Ice Beneath Her by Camilla Greb earlier in January, which I will talk to you guys about, but I'm liking these very dark sort of explorations, and I'm finding that as much as these are, and I'm speaking about this even though I haven't read it, but just based on some of what I've read so far, about real character-driven mysteries and real character exploration, which I very much enjoy. So as much as there is mystery and investigation and thriller aspects to these books, there's also sort of a slow burn pace of really understanding the characters, and they're messy and they're complicated, and like it says, like the dark side of human nature, which I'm very much enjoying. So I'm putting a lot of expectations on some of these books, but I'm hoping I will be right. And then the last book I want to recommend, I just finished a few days ago, and it's Rock, Paper, Scissors by Ellis Feeney. I didn't know that this had a snowy setting to it. I knew that it was a couple who goes away for the weekend, and in my head, I don't know why, I always just assume when you're gonna go away for the weekend, you're going someplace warm, or maybe, I'm a big fall baby, so like, fall's my favorite season, so I will kind of go anywhere in the fall. But if I'm gonna go somewhere where it's snowy, like, no thank you. So I don't know why I just assumed a weekend away wasn't going to involve snow. But in this one, this is definitely a book you want to go into as blind as humanly possible, and I did, which I'm excited that I did that. I didn't even know there was snow. So in this one, it says 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, an anniversary they'll never forget. So Adam and Amelia spend the weekend in the Scottish Highlands, a remote location that's perfect for what they have planned. So Amelia has won this trip through work. They go on a getaway. Like it says, 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets. They're trying to work on things, and they go away for like a weekend that's just gonna basically change it all. It's gonna change everything. So I really enjoyed this book. I will do a full review in my January wrap up. I will say, it took me a little bit to get into the rhythm at the beginning of this book, but then once I did, I was never not wanting to know what was going to happen next, but it took me a little while to get into sort of the compulsive page turning of it. And I found, and this is a me thing, I had the same experience with this book that I had with The Maidens, where I couldn't stop trying to figure out the mystery, and I was having a hard time turning my brain off and getting lost in the book, because I've read a few Alice Feeney books. I obviously read tons of mysteries and thrillers. It's what I love. And every once in a while, I will get super like hinged on trying to solve it, and I can't stop. So every sentence, every word, every look, everything, I was like, is that a clue? Is that a red herring? Is that a twist? Is that a this? Is that a that? Does it mean this? Like, I was overanalyzing so much of it. So it took me a little bit to get past that personally, but ultimately I really enjoyed this book. There's so many great quotable parts to it. I dog-eared it a ton. It's how you know. She does something I absolutely love. She makes a reference to Marian Keyes in this book, which is in no way anything to anyone except if you're like a huge fan of hers, which just made me love Alice Feeney even more. So I really enjoyed this book. But yeah, this is totally an isolated wintry weekend away, which who knew? I didn't, but it's great. So that's gonna do it for some more wintry reads. I mean, you don't have to be in the winter season to read wintry stuff, but obviously I've picked up a whole bunch of these because it's what I'm in the mood for right now. So let me know if you guys have read any of these. Let me know what other wintry books you might be reading. Like, are you a seasonal reader? Do you pick up sort of what's happening outside your window during that time of year? I can go both ways, but this year I'm really feeling it. So I'm just going to embrace it. I'm gonna run with it. And hopefully I'm gonna read some really amazing books. So let me know what you guys are up to. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I do really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys really soon in another video. So take care, guys. Bye.